our way.
All right.
We are live.
As usual, we're like stunned as soon as it goes live with no countdown.
Is this really happening?
Yeah, every week I have like the weirdest face, like in the opening screen. It's like,
Anywho,
yeah, I didn't lose my keys, but I did lose my phone.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's just get right into it. So the name of this broadcast today, Where Are My Keys? I Lost My Phone, is a famous Lady Gaga, especially in my life. I actually
we do this all the time.
I have like an engraved, like my jewelry thing from Jen, which was like my bridesmaid's gift, says, "Where are my keys? I lost my phone."
Okay, so I'm actually really good with the phone. I'm usually good with. I've only lost my phone one time, and it was that one time we're not going to talk about. But we were being naughty, and God smited me. I found the phone. So here's what let me just tell you though. Okay, so this is what I'm super duper fucking upset about is that like if I was shit-faced drunk, I'd be like, you deserve to lose your phone because you're a drunk and you lost your phone while you were drinking. That is not what happened. So it's actually buried in my friend's fancy new car. It's somewhere in his fucking Tesla. Like, I know that it is. We know that it is.
You know what? That's happened to me. Like, it was always Jen's car. Always. It was in Jen's car. And there were a couple times where she would look and not find it and then have to, like, look again and find it. So,
no, I'm sorry. There were 4 adults there and Xander, me, and 3 other guys. We tore this fucking car apart. So let me just tell you. So my friend Rich invited me over like last minute, and his friend likes like toys. Last time we were there, he let Xander fly his drone, and he took out one of Rich's fucking plants. Okay, with the drone, the blades of the drone, it's coming down, and the fucking leaves are just going everywhere. I was like, I told you not to let the 10-year-old fly the drone, you know, like,
my bad.
So yeah, my friend likes toys, and he just got a new Tesla, and he's like, well, you need cigarettes, and I need to go get beer and cigarettes, so let's go for a ride. And he's sober, but he's like wants to show off his like new car that he just got a couple of weeks ago because he's a typical boy. They don't age, even when they're 43, they're not aged men. So he thinks it's hilarious to be like fucking like flying down like these rural streets in Wayne and scaring the living shit out of me. And it definitely went flying off of my lap and is now somewhere inside his Tesla. Like it has to be because it pinged in my friend's driveway. So.
And it's not in the driveway or outside?
It's not in the driveway. It's not in the bushes. It is not. I even stayed overnight. Like I stayed in like a spare bedroom overnight. So because I was like, we were looking for like 3 hours and it got to the point I was having a panic attack. There was no lighting. Like it was just like, getting crazy. So I was like, I'll just look in the fucking morning. Like whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's not in the driveway. It's not. We literally tore this guy's house apart. He's got like this really nice house. He's super duper clean. He doesn't have like one dust bunny under anything, and it's like nowhere. We looked inside furniture, but the thing is, it pinged in the driveway, and it's accurate within 6 feet. So it's definitely in my friend's Tesla. I'm really not happy.
But it's just so weird that you can't find it. Like it's inside a car. Like is there a secret compartment?
So here's the thing. I'm not going to replace it. I'm giving it until like Wednesday. It's killing me. I can't get into any of my social media. So if you think I'm dead, I'm not. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Like it's really unusual. Like people probably think I'm dead. It's unusual for me to not post anything. And it's
and then we almost didn't get to go live. So people probably would have been like, yo.
Yeah, my brand new computer just started to act fucking crazy. Like, yeah, like everybody's going to think I'm dead. Like, that's really what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with me. And like I said, I wish I had like a drunken story. Hi, Grace.
Hey.
Anyway, what are you drinking tonight, Vanessa? Because I'm drinking tonight.
You know, it's funny. I almost didn't want to drink anything. But then I was like, I'll just have a little because everything was a little hectic at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Get a little something unwinding. I'm still in the bourbon. I love bourbon. So it's like I haven't had it in a while and now I'm on a tear. But your basic like whiskey sour. I went a little heavy on the grenadine. It was supposed to be
I was just going to, so
but
I'm really mad. I was going to make like an almost tequila sunrise. It was a tequila night for me. I just went and bought 2 shots. I was like, I just want 1 tequila drink and then I'll like switch to seltzer or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to gain any more weight during coronavirus. That's the goal. So I did Cuervo Gold and then pineapple juice, orange juice. And I was like, fuck, I don't have any grenadine. I wanted to make it a little sunrise.
Yeah, I have grenadine, and if I pour it with my left hand, I get a lot of grenadine.
Gotta learn the bartender 2-handed pouring. We were talking about that the other night. That's the hardest part of it, is like learning how to use your left hand when you first start bartending, because you're pouring 2 bottles at once usually, or you have a hose and a bottle, and you're usually pouring the liquor with your left.
Right.
The hose is in your right. So yes, that is like the hardest part of learning how to bartend.
Yeah, I'm sure, because I mean. I was like, oh my.
You're like, oh, it's very red.
That's a lot.
Anyway, what's going on with you?
Amy loves bourbon as well.
Oh my God.
So good.
I love bourbon. Bourbon is so delicious.
It really is.
Yeah. Like I said,
it's the best of the whiskeys, I believe.
I love I could drink it just on the rocks. I don't even have to make it fancy. I don't like it warm. I mean, I'll do shots of it warm, but you're not really supposed to do that with bourbon. You're supposed to like sip it.
Right.
Give me 2 cubes and I'm good.
I think that's why I do a drink, because I'm like, when I drink this whole thing, I have not drank this much bourbon.
Well, we used to drink brandy like that when I used to work at a Portuguese bar. And we used to drink espresso and bourbon, espresso and brandy, like it was our job. And it was like 100 proof. Walking out of there, like you could light our breath on fire.
That's funny that you should say that, because on the 4th of July, what was I drinking? Coffee brandy. Because it's
yum.
Portuguese in me, I guess, was just feeling it.
You know, I can't drink espresso like that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. No, espresso, I can't even tell you the last time. Well, I guess when I was in Texas, I did, but it was like, let me just run around for the next 7 hours, because holy crap.
It doesn't even give me that kind of energy. It's nervous energy. It's like an immediate panic attack energy. It's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fun. It's like not even nowadays. I feel like if I have 3 cups of coffee,
I can't do that.
So
no, I usually I'll stop halfway through my 2nd cup, because I could feel my heart rate accelerating in my chest. And I'm like, and I'm done now.
Yeah, and that's usually like, it's going to get slightly worse than this, because I'm realizing it and now stopping.
Right, it's got about 10 more minutes until it really hits my bloodstream.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So what else is going on? Do we have a list today? Because
I don't have a list. I'm like it's literally like I lost my keys. I lost my brain. So the smart car is not smart. I'm not fucking smart because I lost my phone in the smart car. Like everything is just a fucking disaster. My brain is just harried because I feel like just very out of touch. Like I don't have any of my contacts. I just don't have anything right now. And I'm being stubborn about it, because I'm like, let me just wait until Wednesday, because I know my luck. I'll go on like eBay and buy like a used phone for $120 on Amazon, or eBay rather. Like they have like the one that I had for $120.
Yeah.
But I know that it's going to arrive in the mail probably after this dude finds my phone.
Of course.
So I'm just going to wait a few days and try to be patient and disconnect. That's the hardest part, is like, I don't know how to disconnect, I think.
Yeah.
And that's been really.
Yeah, I'd like to think that I do, because sometimes I can just put the phone down and like today I was barely on anything because I had other stuff to do. But the second I got a chance.
But that's the second though. That's a thing. Like just knowing it's there as a crutch. Like I really didn't use my phone all night on Friday night, all night on all day on Saturday. And as soon as I went to go look for it and it wasn't there, it was just this awful sense of panic. And it's like, how disconnected are we? Like this was our life before. We wrote everything down. We had phone books. We had little piles of paper with everybody's phone numbers on it. I don't know my own mother's phone number. Pat's probably having a fucking heart attack right now. My mother's probably having a coronary attack.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a cell phone. I don't know her phone number. I have it. I have a calling app.
I mean, she's in my phone. Her name is there. Could it be the same number?
It might be. That would be that would be amazing.
Yeah.
We'll do that later. Right? Yeah. Let Pat know later if you wouldn't mind. Like, it's just like so crazy. Like, I just don't, it's like a funny feeling. And like I said, like, I mean, I have a cloud. Everything is backed up on my cloud. And thank God I just paid for my cloud storage like 2 weeks ago. So everything is completely backed up. Once I, like, once I go get another iPhone, everything will be there. My text messages, my pictures, everything that I want out of the phone will be there. I'm just being stubborn right now. Not even stubborn. Like, I'm trying to be actually logical about it.
Yeah, like do the patience thing that you like would with anything else. Literally, if it was lost, you'd like wait a couple days and it'd be fine.
And I have the laptop. I can make phone calls from the laptop. I downloaded a texting app that I can make phone calls
so that's good. That's good.
So yeah.
Do you want me to text? Do you want me to text your mom, or do you want me to send you?
No, she doesn't have a cell phone. That's her landline.
Oh, I guess I won't send a text to that.
It'll be like, you just texted a landline. My mom is
like, my dippy.
You know what? It's hysterical. I know like so many people's parents are older than my mom, and their moms like know how to use email and a cell phone and text messaging. My mom just refused to learn. So she's completely disconnected when she leaves the house. Like, there have been a couple of times I've told you that I've called the police station making sure she didn't get into a fucking accident. The one time I was trying to call her, she actually, if you remember, her purse was reported stolen.
Oh, I don't think I remember that.
My mom got robbed outside of a restaurant. And
I remember that. Jeez.
Yeah. They were like, she's fine. She's home. We could do a welfare check if you want, but her purse was reported stolen 2 days ago from a restaurant's parking lot. I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, she was robbed. I'm like, I'm gonna like drive to Pennsylvania right now. Like, so the one time I called, they told me she was robbed. So now I have this weird phobia. Like, I have like call constantly when she's not home.
Well, of course.
It's weird how the roles reverse when you become the, like, you know, like you're checking on your mom like she's a child almost.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, right. Well, that's the cycle of life, right? Like, they take care of us and then they get older and we take care of them. But it depends.
Take care of that witch. I tell her all the time, I'm like, don't act up on me. I'm going to put you in a fucking home.
Shady Pines, Ma.
I tell her, like, yep. And I tell her I'm going to bury her in Potter's Field if she doesn't shut up. I was like, I will not take in your cats and you will go in Potter's Field.
Oh my God. Cold.
Daughter of the year over here. Daughter of the year.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, dang. Well, I feel like it has to show up.
It's gonna show up. So I'm like a little disconnected from life. I don't have any topics to talk about because I haven't been on social media in a few days.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I usually just count on you because you're paying attention to social media. I'm like, I pop on for 10 minutes, like 3 pictures of somebody's kids, and then hop back off and go do
no, not me. I did find out when I opened our Google Mail today that Mark Harmon from I think he was on, what was he on, CSI or one? You know that guy?
Harmon, he was on like something really a long time ago too. Right?
So he's 68 years old, and his new girlfriend is like 12. It says this is Mark Harmon's real life partner on our like Yahoo. I was like, this is what my news is right now. We need
pop culture, but we're old, so I guess that's our pop culture.
Well, I also asked me if I need senior living assistance. I was like, I'm 40, bro. Calm down. I don't know what I searched for that it could think that. Like, I have no idea what's going on in my life. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on in politics. Like, I haven't opened CNN. I did see people died in a plane crash, though.
What? See, you still know. You haven't had your phone. You still know shit I don't know.
Yeah, there was. So I wish my mom had the flip phone. At least I would be able to call her. The witch won't even get the flip phone when she leaves the house.
Did she never have one?
She did have one. She had the flip one for a while, and when her purse was stolen, she never got the phone back.
Well, so you know what? The number I have is probably her cell phone number.
It might be.
Or her old cell phone number, because it was from, like when I lived in New Jersey. So
you know what? Guess what? She never answered it anyway, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. She never answered it. It would sit at the bottom of her purse dead. I'm like, now what if the car dies on the side of the road in the middle of Pennsylvania? How are you going to call anyone? And she's like, well, there's no signals up here anyway. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only reason why I have that number is because she called me to yell at me about something we did.
That's really old. And she sold her house since then. That's not even her car. That is
like, there's no other reason why she would ever call me. She never called me to be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, she definitely was like, you assholes are still out at 3:30 in the morning. What is going on?
Girl, I cannot even. I when I put that graphic up today of us, all I could think is like, those were the days, man. I don't know that I would survive another one of those nights. And the one of us, like right before I left, I just happened to grab it up because I was, like I'm sitting there getting my hair done, and like I don't want to be rude, so I was like if she went away to go do something, I'm trying to like put a graphic together, and I was like, just pop a picture on a pink background with some words, like get it done. So yeah, I put that one up, and I just thought, looking at it, like I would never survive another night like that. I don't think I
would either, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I'm not the mad woman that I used to be. Like, I got crazy when I was down at your house, and I felt that for like 2 fucking days, man. I feel a bad night for like 2 or 3 days. Like, I don't even know how to live after that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
For real.
Yeah, so like I said, the only thing I saw was on our Yahoo, what Yahoo told me, which is bullshit news. But I did see, though, that there was a plane crash over, I want to say, Indiana. 8 people are suspected to be dead. Right on 4th of July, the 2 planes collided and exploded.
Oh my God.
Yeah, over a lake with a lot of people. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, like on the lake, but the people that were, and there were probably children in the plane they suspected. So
right.
That's the only news I've seen, and that's very depressing. So we don't need to talk about that anymore.
Right. Yeah. And literally the only other news I think I have is like Charlie Daniels died, which is also sad news.
I don't know who that is.
He's like a famous country singer. He's 80 something. So he's like old school country, but the Charlie Daniels band.
I'm pretty sure everybody that I like, except for Willie Nelson, is fucking dead that I liked from country music. I mean, Patsy Cline, Johnny Cash, like everybody that. Oh no, Dolly is still alive. Dolly is still alive.
Yes.
Is Tammy Wynette still alive? I don't
know. Knock on wood, because 2020 is like a monster.
Listen, she's my hero. When I grow up, I want to be Dolly Parton. She is like my hero. She's amazing. I saw a meme the other day that it was like, if you ever want to feel lazy, Dolly Parton wrote 9 to 5 and Jolene in the same day.
Yeah, I did see that. I did. And I did also feel lazy. Like I was like, wow,
like what have I really accomplished with my life?
Yeah, like I have not written things like that ever. And she did it in one day. Good.
I've written songs. None of them were successful at all, really.
Yeah.
They were played live, so that's kind of cool. But other than that, yeah, no. I did not write Jolene or 9 to 5 on separate occasions, nor together.
Yeah. Right.
I'll take some Dolly.
What else can we talk about? Like, we should get.
Well, I mean, how's coronavirus doing down by you? Are you guys still getting a second wave down there, or I should say, your first wave? Yep, you guys are still fucked up.
We are still a hot mess. We are. They right before the holiday weekend decided to put masks in place because, who cares about
just put them in place?
When they opened up, there was no restrictions. So literally the day before July 4th, they were like, yeah, you got to wear masks in public places, like in bars and restaurants and stuff. And I was like, hey, thanks. We are already, we
were doing that without like smart people were doing that without you having to tell us. But
right. But all the dumb people or all the people who didn't care.
Well, they're the ones who are spreading it. They're the ones who are spreading it and probably not even catching it. They're just spreading it to the susceptible people.
Yeah, exactly. And it is
around here, people are getting very lax. The only reason I went to this 4th of July thing was because there were 4 people that his deck is huge. He has a giant backyard and a pool. Nobody was on top of each other. Nobody was sharing drinks. Everybody was so responsible and washing their hands and courteous. I'm not going and sitting like inside a place with people with no masks on. Like, it's not fucking happening. It's irresponsible.
And down here, it was like I was saying, like we were trying to go to the beach during the week. We always try to go to the beach during the week, during a weekday before work gets out so that there's nobody there. It's been working just fine. But Like if we go in the afternoon, I notice as we're coming back, there are people packing the restaurants there. They're all just sitting there without masks on, waiting in line. And I'm just like, I don't get it, dude. I mean, like, I get that when you think about odds, it makes you feel safe. But the reality of it's not the odds that you have to worry about. It's the like unpredictability about it.
Unpredictability. It's also like, to me, it's like, if you don't love yourself enough, like if you're such a fucking asshole and you don't love yourself enough to protect yourself, how about loving your neighbor? Like you live in kind of a Bible Belt area, not quite the Bible Belt, but you're almost in the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
It isn't like religion big down there. Isn't love thy neighbor a big part of the Bible? Like, how about you love your neighbor enough to put a mask on and not spread it to somebody susceptible to it?
Yeah.
You know, like it just, and a person, I would like to see this.
I don't understand.
Sorry, that was my phone. I don't know why. My phone doesn't understand either.
I don't either.
Yeah, she's like, sorry, I don't understand. Like, yeah.
I don't either, Siri. I don't understand.
Smarter than these people.
I wish the fucking car I was in that has my phone driving around in the center of it somewhere.
Yeah.
Smart. Because clearly I'm not. I can like literally imagine the phone like in the middle of the fucking like car. Because it's like
yeah, just in there like, I'm right here, bitches.
Oh, so disgusting. Like, I don't understand it. I mean, so there's a lot of old people in Florida too. Like, that's where old people go to retire. Like, so like, you know, the 30-year-old that's healthy can't put on the mask for the 80-year-old he's next to at the supermarket. Come on.
Oh, well, that reminds me. So did you get to see, you probably didn't get to see, and I don't remember the dude's name because I don't remember anything, but the Broadway guy who died of coronavirus.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Damn it. Hold on. I'm going to look it up because
this is horrible. Like, I mean, like,
oops. Yeah. He was
while
41.
You're looking it up, I'm going to say this. Like, you don't have to, somebody doesn't have to look sick. Like, I don't look like I'm sick. Okay. I'm sick. I'm on 6 different medications every single day, which makes me susceptible. I have rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah.
My immune system is susceptible. I might not look sick, even though I'm sniffling like a crazy person. This is just allergies. By the way, I sneezed in an Uber like last week, and I thought that the guy was going to like actually put me out of the fucking car. I had
He just stops and drags you out.
I was like, I'm sorry, it's allergies. They don't have coronavirus. Like, please don't kick Xander and I out of your car right now.
Yeah, right? Like, it's fine.
Like, it's okay. Okay, what was it?
Nick Cordero.
I've heard the name before. Why have I've heard that name? I'll look it up when we're done. But how old?
In Bullets Over Broadway, Rock of Ages, Waitress, and A Bronx Tale the Musical.
Okay.
He was 41. He was in the hospital for like 3 months or something like that. The first 2 COVID tests came back negative. So they didn't really know what they were dealing with. And the third one came back positive, and, you know.
So that's the thing too. I think that people have been carrying, some of the people that are getting sick now, everyone keeps on blaming more testing for getting sick. First of all, that's not what was happening. People were sick. They just weren't getting tested. So let's use some logic here. But I think what was also maybe happening is people were carrying it around for 2 months, maybe feeling a little bit weaker than usual, maybe not quite themselves, but didn't think they were sick. Also, let's all be real. Like, this has been an adjust on everybody's mental health. Like, since this happened, I've been definitely lazier than I normally am. My body hurts more than it normally does. I like with my allergies, I've been sneezing for 4 days. I know it's my allergies. My brain knows that. You know what I'm saying? Right. But like, it's like, you know, the anxiety part of you is like, but maybe I got COVID.
It's always like, don't forget that you should be on watch.
Right. But I think people have been walking around with it for 2 months, maybe just feeling mild to no symptoms. And
well, this is what happened is like, apparently he felt like lethargic, like extra lethargic for a while, and then started having breathing problems. And that was like their first real hint that there was something wrong. And it's like, by the time that happens, you know, you're already in trouble.
Well, yeah. So see, as you can see, I'm a heavy, like my anxiety is horrible. If I drink, I smoke, by the way, 3 times. It looks like I smoke a lot during the hour that we're on the air. It's because I'm drinking, I'm like slugging tequila right now, a double like tequila drink. But like I smoke, and I think that alone, if I take all of my other health bullshit out of the way, just me smoking, I feel like makes me susceptible, which is bad.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and the more anxiety I have, the more like smoke, the more I smoke.
Yeah.
Like, which I think is normal. Like, I think smokers do that.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I don't know. Like, I've stopped drinking as much. I told you at the beginning of coronavirus, I was like, I feel like I should be a lot more drunk. Everybody was shit-faced. Like, the first, like, month of coronavirus, everybody was like,
it's true.
House.
Parents were like homeschooling their kids. Like, I can't do this without wine.
After 2 bottles of wine. That would be like us trying to homeschool one of my kids after one of our crafting days, like how we used to day drink and craft. That would be like us trying to homeschool my older boys. That would have been a disaster. No, we didn't even pick them up from school. They walked 2 blocks and they were at my backyard, you know?
Yeah, geez.
Yeah.
I can remember like sometimes doing projects with them, you know?
We would do projects with a bottle of wine next to us. I have a lot of respect for teachers. Listen, I don't judge any of the moms that had a bottle of wine while they were trying to teach their kids.
Not at all.
So even like from being away with Xander for a couple days, like away from the house, like I had to come home for the ferrets. It was nice to escape though. It was nice to be in Wayne in the country, like where you hear birds chirping and animals are like running through the backyard. He's got deer and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, I do have another story for you. In the middle of me losing my phone, I found a tick under my boob.
Awesome.
I still have a it implanted itself the night before.
Is the head in there?
It's in there. The whole thing is in there. I'm gonna have to go to the doctor tomorrow or Wednesday.
Oh my God. Meanwhile, I just want you to know, I just backhanded a fly.
I saw that.
About it.
Yeah. I think when I was scrolling through the bushes looking for my phone, no, that's not how it happened. It must have happened the night before because it's completely in there. Like you could see it's raised. You could see the shape of it. You can't see legs sticking out because all the pictures were when it like first happens. It clearly happened the day before. But I do remember the day before, like when I took a shower, I know for a fact there was no foreign object under my boob.
Right. Like that's a place where you would notice.
Right. Sure. And how I noticed it was the oddest thing. The fringe of my bathing suit kind of tickled me. And I looked down and I had this big red spot and I could see the fucking thing already like embedded in my skin.
Oh, man.
Now, if you remember, Xander had Lyme disease last year. So now I'm checking him like a fucking mad woman, making sure he didn't pick anything like up. I'm like, country living, man. Like, this is not for me. And it's Wayne. I just want to say it's fucking Wayne. Half of it's a concrete jungle. The other half is very rural.
I was just going to say, like, you weren't in Sussex County, dude.
I was not in Sussex County. Wayne is actually, I think, Passaic County, I want to say.
I know, it's not even. Wayne.
It's right next to Patterson. I think it's fucking, but I guess it really is the suburbs, but I'm in a very urban area. I literally live in a concrete jungle, guys. Everybody has a front lawn. There is no backyard. Your house is on a quarter lot. Most of the houses here are very large. If it's even a house, if it's not an apartment dwelling. Right. But they're usually like 2-3 family houses and they're on like quarter lots. You have like a tiny patch of grass on your front lawn where you can put your garbage out. And that's where I live. So yes, Wayne is the country to me.
The Wayne is the country to you.
I mean, I did for the most part grow up in Hackensack too, so that's not very country like either.
Also not country.
I lived in a high rise in high school, so let's be real. A country girl, I am not.
That was so Gossip Girl of you.
XOXO. So I'm really mad, by the way. My phone died the other day when I was about to order a Chuck Bass face mask.
What?
It says it's all about that bass. And it says instead of bass, it had it crossed out and it said mask XOXO. I had it in my shopping cart and my phone died. I'm like, the fuck? It was like at the end, it was like a campaign to raise money. All the proceeds he was donating. I think he is the hottest guy ever. What's his name? Ed
Westwick. Yeah.
Oh my God almighty in heaven.
I think he's all right, but I've been recently watching Gossip Girl from the beginning, and I can't get over his stupid hair at the beginning. So right now, that's the image I have in my head, and I'm like, he's not hot yet. In what I'm watching,
I hated him so well. He was also a little rapey in the beginning of Gossip Girl, and I'm
very rapey.
Well, he was, not a little rapey. It took me like 3 seasons to get over that, but once I realized how hot he was, and it smacked me in the face. I always liked the dad. That's really creepy, though, right?
Rufus is the one.
Rufus was so hot, and in the end, he ends up with Lisa Loeb. He's with Lisa Loeb at the wedding. I'm like, this could not be better. This could not possibly be better. His girlfriend is
other than if it were one of us.
Rufus is a hot dad. I'll take that dad bod. I don't want him to like what people consider a dad bod now. Fuck that.
I mean, I'm okay with the dad bod now if it's But Rufus.
No, when I think of dad bod, like I literally think of like a terrible meme of some guy wearing a Confederate flag that's really skinny and drinking like PBR with like a belly sticking out and a farmer's tan. Like I can't.
Wow.
That's what I think of. That's where my brain goes immediately. Like I don't think of like a hot dad with like, like glasses and a cool cable knit sweater. Like I think like the worst possible white trash redneck dad that you can imagine.
See, I just think of like that guy at the beach that has a little extra around the middle, but he doesn't.
I don't mind that.
Like that's what I think of like a dad bod. Like I stopped
that's
going.
That's not what I imagine in my head. I imagine a guy like really skinny that drinks way too much beer and is just like, so like me, the male version of me. Just I don't drink PBR or fly a Confederate flag though.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's okay. I want to keep going.
Downhill quick.
I'm just gonna try to breeze over it. Is really what I'm doing. But like, so we're talking about Rufus, okay?
Okay, let's go back to Rufus.
As soon as we started talking about Rufus, all I could think of was, and everybody made fun of me for loving Sam on True Blood. But guess what?
I didn't like Sam.
Rufus is Sam.
No.
Yes.
No, I didn't like Sam. I didn't like him in the books either. I thought he was like, I don't know, there was something kind of obnoxious and reckless about him to me. I just didn't.
Okay,
we've gone over this before.
We don't think Alcide was.
Oh my God! Don't get me started. I don't care. That was the most perfect. They cast that show so amazing, except for the main character in Bill Compton, who in real life I think is the cutest couple in the world. But we read the books. Sookie was supposed to be so striking that you couldn't stop looking at her. Bill Compton, the guy who plays him, is way too old. He was supposed to be like 24 and died in the Confederacy. Yeah. If you remember, he's a Confederate soldier. So he was supposed to be between 22 and 24 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that didn't add up. But Eric Northman, oh my God.
Yeah.
That could not have
perfect.
He was like 6. He's a real life Viking. Okay.
I just want to take a moment and close my eyes.
I don't want to think about the penis scene where we find out his penis is this big, though. Do you remember that?
I remember that because you also, I'm pretty sure that night you also ruined, what's that guy's name in Sweet Home Alabama that I love?
I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thanks.
Listen, I think that led us down a Google rabbit hole of celebrity penises. We were so drunk. I think we found Ian Somerhalder's penis. We like freeze framed on it from something and saw like Ian Somerhalder's dick that night.
Well, right, because on
we're classy ladies, guys.
Well, listen, and I'm gonna blame Howard Stern for it because they like pointed you to I forget what the name of the website was, but it was like skinsomething.com or some shit. And it was like, sweet, you could just go see everybody's parts. Like a total perv.
That's still around. I need something to do when we're done. I'm quite bored here, guys.
Howard Stern.
I can't stand Howard Stern. My old boss, who is one of my favorite people in the world, absolutely like worshipped Howard Stern. Yeah. So every time I would come into work at like 2:30 in the afternoon, I was listening to the morning show, which had aired 6 hours before. So anything crazy and obnoxious that he did, I already had heard about it.
Right.
And had to relive it while I was opening the bar.
Oh, see, I love Howard. I thought he was freaking hilarious because he was such a dork. The thing that I loved about it is that I would listen to it and be like, this man is using false confidence. And I think it's so funny that he's just like, yeah. But he's really like a total dork.
He's a total nerd. I love that he rescues animals. I've liked him as he's gotten older because he's calmed down a little bit. The one stunt everybody hated his guts for was like the whole like church stunt that he pulled.
Yeah.
I thought that was the funniest thing that he did, just to give you my sense of humor.
I mean, imagine the shock.
Yeah, it's a big shock that So I do have something to talk about. I just watched an old series that was only 2 seasons long, and I'm really mad because I thought it was still going on when I watched it.
I'm in 1994.
Imagine my shock when it ended 2 years ago on a cliffhanger at the end of the 2 seasons that I had to watch. I was pretty angry. But The Exorcist. I watched the show The Exorcist.
It was a show?
And it was very good. The guy who played Tomas is so fucking hot. I can't even handle it. The guy who plays the main priest, I'm like, this is weird. I like a priest right now. You'd like that priest too. He's smoking. He's so sexy.
You know what? Wouldn't even be the first priest that thought was hot.
I had a crush on a brother when I was like 11 years old. He wasn't a full out priest yet. He was the brother.
I had a crush on one of the priests in Colleen's church.
I remember.
Father Adam.
I remember you pointing him out at the craft fair, and I was like, I see where you're going with that one there, but I think that's a little taboo. I was 11 and really, all I knew was like, well, he's not a priest yet. That was like even at 11 years old, that was my logic.
People have been known to turn away.
Thank God he was a fucking moral man, because that would have been weird if he wasn't, because I really was 11 or 12. It would have been bad if he was immoral.
Yeah, geez.
No, he was very nice. He was very handsome, though.
Yeah.
He was only like 22 years old. Wasn't that inappropriate?
I mean, the crush. I mean,
it was a crush, but it wasn't like
when I was 7 years old, I wanted to marry John Cougar Mellencamp. So
I wanted to marry Patrick Swayze when I was like 6, so it's fine. It's fine. I still watch Dirty Dancing. I'm like,
you know.
Listen, when his song comes on, when he's standing in front of the car, I feel like that's when the tears start to like come over you, where you realize you're like, they're not going to be together. It's just going to be a total disaster. Disastrous.
That movie. Forever.
Now you watch it and you're like, well, he's dead. So there's never going to be a reunion on that.
Yeah.
And she got a facelift. I mean, she looks so much.
They better never.
They did a Dirty Dancing 2.
But
Havana Nights. That was the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life.
But I'm like, hey, if you want to do spin-offs, I'm like not going to be mad. Do not try to do it over.
You know what? I'll tell you what. That the show The Exorcist was so freaking good. It was so good. Like, I wasn't even mad because The Exorcist is really one of my favorite horror. I'm like a horror person.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is either going to be a giant piece of shit and I'm going to hate it, or I'm going to like it and not be able to turn it off. That's what ended up happening. By the way, not really great idea to watch shit about possession when you have anxiety and can't sleep at night.
Yeah.
Some of the scenes
I won't watch it because I'm convinced that there's a ghost in the house now here. So I won't watch anything scary.
So Xander and I watched it together. Xander watches horror stuff. Yeah. I let him. I don't like, so here's the thing. I watched a show before. It was a reality show called, oh God. It was on Discovery Channel. It was about a family. It was not 18 and counting, but same religion, the Quiverful religion, where basically women are just cattle to breed. and stay in the house, and they make their children do all of the work for them while they're like out in the farm kind of situation. It was like fucked up. But like these kids couldn't watch TV at all. They weren't allowed to listen to any pop music at all. They could only listen to Christian, to country gospel music.
Oh my.
That was approved by the parents. And I'm like, I'm letting my 10-year-old watch The Exorcist. And he was Carl from The Walking Dead when he was 7, 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
He was at Walker Soccer Con last year and met Negan. He met Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I didn't meet Jeffrey Dean Morgan. My kid did, though. When I saw that picture, I was like, you understand the crush I have on that? Listen, so One Tree Hill, Hillary Burton married freaking Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Like, lucky bitch, man.
Yeah.
Lucky bitch.
Yeah.
And I I'll take the two that play
like,
his son.
we're getting older, dude. Like, we're getting older. We're talking about a lot of hot silver foxes.
He's significantly older than us and his wife too, which I'm fine with. He's in his 50s.
Yeah.
He plays, well, he's got to be almost 60 because he plays Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki's dad, and Jensen Ackles is our age. He's 40.
Right. Yes, I remember. I used to have a crush on him when he was on Days of Our Lives.
I still have the biggest crush on him ever, and he married Danielle Ackles from well, now her name is Danielle Ackles. I don't remember what it was before, to be perfectly honest with you. She was on the later seasons after Hillary Burton was off. She was so hot, though. Like, I can't even be mad. I'm like, yep, I'd do her, too. I get it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is how I feel. So I feel like if a hot celebrity is going to be with someone that's not me, they should be with someone hot.
It's really funny how, like, all of my crushes ended up, like, where you can't even be mad. Like, all the people I love from Supernatural, they're all legitimately happy and have wives and families and are, like, super happy people. So it's like, you can't be mad at that. Like, who could be mad at someone else's happiness? It's not like we're getting them.
Right. Well,
there are people that do that, though. There are people that get mad at other people's wives. It's like, why would you like be mad at someone else's happiness?
True. It's true.
So weird. That's so weird to me.
It is weird because, like, I
don't know, though, because Gavin DeGraw is still single as far as we know. And if he ever marries somebody, we're going to hate her guts, even if we love her.
That's probably true. And you know why? Because he's not going to marry like
he's going to marry like a school teacher. He's going to marry
some random person, normal person like us, but not us. Speaking of Gavin DeGraw.
I know. So, yeah. Okay. So listen, by the way, I read your text message because my phone was at that point almost dying as Gavin DeGraw died. And I almost dropped. I swear to God. I literally was like, wait a minute. Because like I didn't have my glasses on. And then I like put the phone closer. I was like, Gavin's dad died. I was like, okay. So I got the text. I didn't have my glasses.
I feel like crying thinking about what that moment must have been like for you.
I'm not even kidding. Like I literally like was like, no, this is not real life. And like zooming the phone up and being like, Gavin's dad died. Okay, that's terrible.
Just know I would never text you that. That would be a blubbering phone call. I wouldn't even be able to speak.
No, I can't imagine. I don't even want to say they know. I didn't think that you would text me something like that, but that's literally how I read it because I was like speed reading it and I didn't have my glasses on. And that's how I read your text message.
No, his dad. And I don't know what happened because I haven't been paying attention. I'm behind on the podcast. So the last thing that I was listening to was him like being concerned about his dad because he like is older and has had bypass and heart attacks and whatnot. So he was worried about Corona. Yeah, but I don't know what happened. Like that was,
those are the people that I'm like 4 weeks
behind.
So that might be a legitimate concern. Maybe his dad was feeling weaker than normal or something like that. Maybe that's what it was. Who knows? I haven't been on social media since then. I don't know.
He hasn't been on either from what I saw. Cause I saw somebody say something about it. I was like, no way, dude. There's no way. Like that's his only parent that he has left. Like I was like, his father lives in the apartment, like next to him, like I was like, no. And you know, I looked and I found the obituary and I was like, that's so sad. Like,
ugh.
Just Because again, like the last podcast I was listening to, he was, really heavy into talking about like how worried he is about his dad. And like that's the thing that worries him the most
feel
about
like
COVID.
intuition kicks in. Like I'm worried about my mom. Like my mom, like what, like I didn't talk to her for a long time, and I started talking to her again. And one of the reasons why I did was also because I do think that she's changed as a person. I think me not talking to her and the reasons why really set in this time, perhaps. Yeah. That even if her friends behaved the way that she was behaving, that she won't do it in front of me. It doesn't mean that she's changed. It means that she respects me enough to not do it in front of me, if that makes sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Listen, she's 70 years old. We're not teaching an old dog new tricks. But right. Like, if she can respect me enough to not say douchey things when she's around me that I can't handle, like I can't, listen, age is not an excuse. And I'm going to be honest about this. It was things that I found racist. There were things that I found homophobic. And things that I just can't get on board with, even when it's your mom. Yeah. And I do feel like she's changed. Like not that she's changed, but she's at least changed her behavior in front of me. And I hope that she maybe learned a lesson from it. Like people aren't tolerating this behavior anymore. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's like the key is that, knowing that's probably the only thing we can expect from certain people, because they're not going to come all the way where we need them to go. But as long as they can come far enough to not be hateful and to not be perpetuating, the hate, then,
well, she has to respect anybody that I'm with. She has to respect anybody I'm with, whether they're a man or a woman, or if they're Black, they're white, they're Hispanic, they're Asian. She has to respect who I decide to spend my life with. If I ever decide to do that again, she has to respect it. Yeah. Just like I respected all of her bad decisions while I was growing up. My stepfathers, none of them were winners, and there's plural. Okay. I had to respect her fucking decisions, and how I respect them by walking out the door.
Yeah.
So we walked out on each other, but during this, like I started talking to her again. I was worried about her. She's got a heart condition. She's susceptible to coronavirus. You worry. Like when your parents become older, I only have one person. I literally just have my mom left. That's all I have.
Yeah.
So, I have to put up with like the good and the bad. Like I said, she's been behaved.
Yeah.
She's been behaved.
Again, like it's encouraging, and sometimes again we like you meet people where they can be and bring them as far as they can go, and that's
what I've been doing. I mean, I was astounded by some of the ways that she was behaving, and I think a lot of it is environmental. The area that she's living in, Pennsylvania, is not for me. They still fly Confederate flags. They weren't part of the Confederacy. I'm so fucking confused. Like, you're literally just a racist piece of shit.
That shit's funny, but not funny, but
it's
funny
really
because it's like exactly that. Like, do you know what do you know?
Do you understand the map and how the Confederacy worked, you fucking idiots?
Like, what is their school system like?
It's the losing side. It's a dead flag. And like, why is it on your porch? Like, I'm so confused.
And I'm going to be honest with you. For the longest time growing up, I didn't understand.
So my grandfather,
I didn't understand the whole meaning.
Didn't understand what it was.
The whole meaning, because I did believe that there were a lot of people that also didn't quite understand the whole meaning. So
you know what my grandfather told me, and I'll never forget this when I was younger. He said, any representation of the American flag that is not the American flag should not be flown anymore. And he, as a veteran, was completely like opposed to people flying Confederate flags. He was like, I don't understand this. They literally fought their own people. They started a war that just didn't need to be fought, and they were the losing end of history. It's a false flag. It's a slap in the face to veterans. And while those people that died believed in the cause that they were dying for, the cause at the root of it was racism. And there are people that will tell you, no, it's not. It was bred in culture and this. No, you were fighting to keep slaves. Like, you're not going to tell me differently. Like, I've read history. Like, I don't know what kind of history you were taught by your racist ass parents and grandparents, but it's not what really fucking happened.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is apparently history, and I've learned this like recently. History around the United States is not taught the same. No. Not everybody learns all of the parts of it. But like when I was thinking about the Confederate flag and everything, and I was like, I grew up in Massachusetts. We did not fly the 13 colony flag.
My grandfather used to get mad at that
signify
too.
that we liked our life before the South joined. Like, we should have, really, in all honesty. Like, we should be flying our 13 colony flags because we were right. We won the damn war.
The only thing that he was cool with that was go next to an American flag. Now, mind you, this was before Pride, and I would like to say that even though he was conservative, that maybe he was kind of progressive in his ways. He was not a racist person at all whatsoever. But he said the only flag that he thought was acceptable to fly next to the American flag was the Palmyra flag.
Well, yeah.
The prisoner of war flag. That was it.
Of course.
But he was like, any other flag that flies next to it, I believe, is a false flag. It's a dead flag that shouldn't be flown anymore. It's not what our country represents anymore. So why are they flying it, kind of thing?
Yeah.
And that's how he felt as a veteran. I think that's like, I guess a controversial view from a conservative.
Yeah.
It was. He was a conservative.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of stuff that was seemingly meaningless, but now people are actually starting to look at the meanings, and that's just part of it.
My grandfather got it in the 80s as a almost 70-year-old man. Nobody now has a fucking excuse. That's how I'm looking at it.
Not. And especially because it's like, who cares?
You're an extremist if you are. You're literally a fucking Nazi, and his people were killed. He was Polish, okay? So his people were killed. So, like, you are not, like, he would not have been cool with this white nationalist shit that's going on in the conservative party. That's not a conservative. That's not conservative values.
Right.
Okay? Like, that's not what that is. That's blatant racism, Semitism. Xenophobia, homophobia. Like, it's all the hateful things wrapped into a person and thrown out there.
Yeah.
But Antifa, which literally means anti-fascist.
I don't know, dude. I'm having like such a hard time with all of the like generalizations. Like I keep I keep like not answering people, I think, when they try to bait me, but it really still gets under my skin that it's like every time I hear somebody be like, oh, the liberals, oh, the conservatives, I'm like, can you stop? Or, oh, the protesters, or, oh, the this. I'm like, it's not, none of these things are all encompassing of all the people you're talking about. Why are you doing this? Like, stop.
The people I was with all week, my friend Rich and his friends are conservative, and I do have friends that have opposing viewpoints. None of them are blatantly racist. They support Trump literally only because he was the Republican candidate, and they didn't want another Democrat. And I think they probably didn't want a woman, which they're not going to admit in front of me. Like,
well, yeah, I wouldn't admit that in front of you either.
But his friend that I lost my phone in his car, him and I were yelling at each other all weekend. I'm sure you can, not yelling. We were having like appropriate arguments.
Like heated discussions. Yes.
Heated discussions. I mean, and at one point I said to him, like, because he was just like, if you don't mind me asking, like, why are you still single, kind of thing, like, or like, or whatever. And I told him I realized that I was dating the same person over and over again.
Yeah.
For the last 20-something, which I've told you before. Yeah. I tend to go for artists. Mm-hmm. It was just like different, like, and listen, in no way were the other people that I dated abusive. At points, we were both abusive to each other, if anything, like in, other relationships. I don't mean abusive, but like we yelled at each other.
Yeah.
The last one, it was straight up abuse, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
But like I had said to him, I was like, I realized like I needed to change who I was dating because I think I dated the same guy wrapped in a different package that got worse and worse as time progressed for like 20-something years. Mm-hmm. And now it's figuring out who I want to be with and date, or if anybody kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And and I said, it also takes a special kind of person to be with me and put up with this mouth. Because imagine you're sitting next to me all weekend and I'm doing this with you. Because that's what would happen. That's your life.
And that's just this weekend. This is your life every damn day. Because I'm going to tell you.
He got mad at me. So we started playing this game. Like it was like, it started off as like best commercial of the 80s, best song of the 90s. I made fun of him for his best song of the 90s. And then he asked everybody's favorite president. And then he started ranking people, and I was like, "Let me guess." Before anybody said anything, I was like, "Let me guess, Ronald Reagan was your favorite." And he was like, "Of course." And I was like, "Of course it is." And I was like, "And you already know what I'm going to say, so I don't even have the words. Don't even have to come out of my mouth." But that was the banter all weekend. Imagine living with this fucking mouth all weekend.
You know what though? The right person's gonna do it. Like I was sitting there thinking the other day, like. I still have I don't want to do it. I look around and I'm like, I really like that it's just me and my kid here. I feel free. I feel like myself. I feel non-judged. I feel like I don't have to worry about another person. And I'm happy with that right now. And then I was, I was just sitting there. We were sitting on the beach and I looked around and I was looking
at like, who would I be with?
Yeah, exactly. I was looking at the dudes on the beach and I was like, no. And I was like, dude, if you can't even look at, you can't find anybody attractive right here, you are so not ready. Because
me on Tinder was like, nope. And I'm like, you just looked at 30 seconds of a picture and was like, nope. And it's like, what? I don't even know what I was basing it on.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I also a little bit feel like it's like my intuition being like, you're not ready, dude, because when you're ready, you're going to have a picture in your head of exactly what it is that you want, exactly what you know fits. I'm like, do I want a dork? Do I need a pretend bad boy who's not a bad boy? Because I'm not a bad girl, but I mean,
you're a pretend bad girl.
Kind of wild,
We're kind of wildlings, but we're not. We're like not drug addicts. We're not really alcoholics. We joke around about how much we drink and stuff. But we're not
kind of wild. I'll just randomly decide to do some dumb shit and it's okay. But my life isn't doing dumb shit. And I feel like that's an important distinction to make when I'm looking for a guy who's fun.
Absolutely.
Like you have to be like me. You have to be me.
You with a penis.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm having trouble figuring out what that even means. I'm like, I'm a little bit of everything, and I don't think I want one of anything.
Well, we don't fit into a package. We don't fit with a bow and a package neatly we do weird things. Like, look, you just went and dyed your hair. It looks so gorgeous. It's so fucking
I'm going to be a mermaid today.
I mean, imagine coming home to a guy in chinos with that fucking hair, though. Okay. Like while I was dating that one guy,
listen, I can tell you right now, probably 95% of the guys that I dated, if I came home like this, they would immediately start being like, "Oh, who are you trying to look good for?" Like it would be a total you're trying to leave me, you're trying to cheat on me kind of thing.
So you remember the guy that I dated for a very brief period of time that kept telling me I was a walking fetish? And he was like, "You should take that as a compliment." I was like, "Well, it's not because at all, because it's really not cool to say somebody is like a walking fantasy for someone else. Are you saying I don't have substance? I don't understand." He's like, "No, the way you dress, everybody looks at you and you do it on purpose." And I'm like, I really don't though, because if you knew me, you would know that this is literally how I've always looked. And one day you're going to catch me in a skull pinup dress, and the next day you're going to catch me looking like Mrs. Roper. Okay. Yeah. So there is no sense to my madness whatsoever.
Yep.
None.
Yeah.
None.
And that's the thing is I feel like, we definitely obviously have a magnet for
we have a crazy people
some type of man, but I feel like
that want to control us.
I was having this discussion the other day. Okay. And it was I had an epiphany. I was like, I feel like with the exception of the last, say, year and a half of my life where I was a broken individual and I know that people knew that. Prior to that, I was always like this badass, like independent, I don't need you, like kind of woman. And it attracts a type of person who wants to break into that, who wants to be like the conqueror of that. And it was like I had this epiphany while talking to this girl. I was like, holy shit, like that's what's happening. This is not about like,
it's a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it made me feel some type of way about like, man, all my effing relationships were like that. That sucks. And then once either I like committed or like fell in,
you're the type of person once you commit, you're stuck. You feel stuck. Like you feel like you're obligated. I know you.
Not only that, but they stopped.
They stopped
doing everything because they're like, I won.
Into it. They were like, oh, she wins. She's stronger than I am. That's what's happened in every.
See, to me, it's the opposite. Like, I feel like once the challenge has been met and I am now, quote unquote, under their control, it's no more fun.
Well, so
now I'm annoying. Yeah. Now I'm like, you know, I'm not that person anymore. So now there's no challenge. There's nothing else to get from me. Like, in that way, it's not a challenge. Now it's just, I don't know.
See, with me, I feel like it was like they just stopped doing. Like once they were like, she does it. She listen. The last major relationship, two, I would say, financially, I was the one who made more money at that time, and it was like, well, she wins every time. Like in terms of that, so they would submit financially, but mentally they felt like there was something left to conquer.
Yeah.
You know, last time though, I'm not even going to get into, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're not even going to go there because I let that person financially bankrupt me.
Yeah. Well, and that's how I feel about my last major relationship being like, wow, I went.
Dependent. We were too dependent.
Yeah. Like I was too trusting and I was too, again, like I was easily manipulated because of being given something that I wanted so badly. He knew I would do anything to hold on to like the idea of staying home with my miracle baby. And I was going to put up with almost anything to be able to continue doing that. He knew.
I would like you to think about my last born and how long it took me to have him and how long I stayed in that relationship where I was telling everybody, I was saying to everybody, I was like, you guys know what's happening. I don't know why you're acting like I'm a fucking crazy person. I know I'm acting like a fucking crazy person but I'm not actually crazy. Like, I know this is happening.
It's not because I'm crazy. It's because
not because I'm crazy. I know I'm acting crazy, but he's literally made me fucking crazy. Like, and I know that that's like the typical woman thing to say. Like, I feel like that's such a standard. It is, right? Like that is.
Oh, totally. Somebody put a comment up the other day that said something about like women being crazy or whatever, and of course my ass is right under there. Men make us crazy.
No, wait, listen. I am not really a crazy person. I do a good job of keeping my rage under control, or else the whole tri-state area would be fucking dead. Okay, like for real. Like my wrath would be felt around several states that surround me.
Yeah,
but like you poke the bear enough, and I fucking go crazy.
Well, that's the thing.
You're gonna call me crazy.
Well, and so here's the thing, like, and I know this about me, and it is kind of true about you too. Like, we don't want necessarily conflict, so we will let a certain amount of shit go. But once the problem is, it's like known that, like you're crossing a friggin' line on purpose, dude. Now we're done. Like now you're about to get all of it. You're not going to get the one thing. You're getting all of it now.
After the abusive relationship I was in, I don't put up with one thing anymore. And I've become I was very controlling in my last relationship. Also because he was 12 years younger than me. I'm a fucking moron.
Yeah. Well, you weren't controlling. You were parenting.
I was parenting. Lesson learned there too, folks. When you're Mrs. Robinson, guess what fucking ends up happening? I like the Lemonheads version of that song better, by the way, because everybody used to sing that.
Well, see, the problem is that if you don't just Mrs. Robinson, then you end up mothering also.
I took that a little bit too far, guys. Yeah. So I was controlling, and it was like, no, you're acting like a fucking idiot. Like, you're an idiot. And now I just called you a fucking idiot because you're behaving like a fucking idiot. And I'm too old for this shit. I kept saying that over and over in my head. You're too old for this shit. Like, what are you fucking doing?
Like guys our age are bad enough. Never mind the younger ones.
Oh my gosh. I could do with a couple years younger. A couple years younger is fine. That drastic of a, like, there were certain, like, listen, if you don't get my pop culture references in general, my nose is already like.
Yeah, like if it's not even a little bit or you never even heard it, we're not going to be going the distance.
No, I would have to like explain things to him that I felt like didn't need explanations, that like weren't even pop culture references. Like I felt like life things, and I was just like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here.
No. But the, anyway, is figuring out how this shit happens. I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure I know that my whole everything, every single mistake I've made, which I'm not going to say
mistakes, they're lessons.
But every single like look back and shake your head decision is all because it was like, well, they were fun. Like the only thing I can say about everybody across the board is,
listen, you know how many times, like, listen, especially with you, over the last over 10 years, there have definitely been times that I've woken up like, oh my God, that totally actually happened. That wasn't like fake life. That was real life, happened in front of us. Do you remember the person that came into my house and I had the giant stuffed fish that was like literally a stuffed, so I had a 6-foot stuffed fish that was like a pillow.
It was like a catfish. It had like these.
It was a catfish. It was literally like, I mean, the size of a very large human being. Somebody came to one of my parties and said, "Is that a real fish?" It was my grandfather's, by the way. It was on his bed.
Let's preface that. Like, I just bought a stuffed fish to put on my refrigerator.
It would have been like 2 feet higher than us, and it had giant fucking cloth whiskers. And someone, like, so there were times that was like, did that person do that last night, or was I drunk and imagined that? It wasn't even me that did the stupid thing. It was other people. The karaoke nights that we used to have at my house were sounded like dying cats coming from the basement. And it wasn't
every
us.
Now and then. Every now and then. Not us. Come up in my Facebook memories. And there was one where we were we were using the fan to make wind and take pictures like we were in a rock video.
We had so much fun.
We did. The problem is, like, fun is great, but I need to stop picking men simply because they're fun, because I don't need anything else from them. Like,
I need other things. Like, I need substance. Like, well, listen, the whole thing was with my life back then. The person I was with, we just weren't meant to be together. We did awful things to each other because we weren't meant to be together, ultimately. We both have too strong of personalities. He's not a bad person, and I don't judge him for things I did, and he doesn't judge me for things I did. But, like, in that moment, we would get irritated with each other. But for the most part, the amount of crap that he put up with us was kind of unfucking believable. I mean, 4 a.m., like, screaming Pat Benatar from the basement. Unbelievable.
You're the meaning in my life.
Can't. Him waking up to the fucking debit card being like $25 less because we downloaded all of the songs on Xbox. Or his PlayStation, the Play Store. You just paid the Play Store $25. He'd be like, "What the fuck did you know? What happened?" And we were like, "We just found a bunch of songs. Sorry, like you can sing them too. You're in a band. You can sing like Chicago, right?" Right? Like, yeah, exactly. Like, you'll like them. They're good songs. There's some songs on there for your generation because he's a little older than us. Yeah. Anyway. Anyhow, I guess we'll close out. This felt good. I'm glad we did this tonight. At first, I was just like, "Oh, my life. I need this. Like, I need to like get it." You know, we talked about this. Like, it's sometimes hard for us because like we're empathetic people too. So like it's hard for us to like put on pretend face We didn't put on pretend face for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We were just like, what's going on?
Yeah, like, so what else is going on? So what else is going okay.
Coronavirus, racism, homophobia, white nationalists.
Let's talk about something else.
Feminism.
Yeah. No, definitely. No. And I think it's important for us to, show people that it doesn't make you a bad person if you're still trying to enjoy your life amidst all of this friggin' madness. Like we still have life to live.
You have to live, and you have to have people in your circle that, like, I know that, like, I can text you and tell you about the horrible day I had, and I know I could text you and tell you about the great day that I had.
Right.
And you could do the same. Like, we could, no matter what's going on, like, you have to have a good circle. I've realized that lately. And they don't always put, like, I think it's so funny how people fit people into boxes that I hang out with. You're the most like-minded person I hang out with.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, like, there's a reason why we're besties.
Yeah.
But, like, other people I hang out with are not all like-minded. And, like, but they give me a comfort zone in my debates, and they're good people.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like, you don't have to fit into a certain criteria. Nobody's got to fit in a certain box.
Yep.
We're all just trying to, like, be happy in this fucking misery that we're all living in right now.
Seriously. And try to make it together. Like that's the thing. Like, I feel like we're forgetting that together is better, and that, like, we should be looking at our sameness instead of our differences, and then build on that.
Right. Like, listen, look at a person's heart. What does that person reflect? Like, what are you seeing? And if there's something that you maybe don't like about the person, if there's one thing that you can say that makes them think about something negative about themselves, and if maybe there's something that they could say to me that's negative about me that makes me stop and think,
right?
And you're growing off of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get along with this fucking crazy universe right now.
Seriously. I just wanted to can we just wake up tomorrow and have it be utopia? Can we have a reverse rapture where they just get rid of all the jerks?
The reverse rapture. Can we please have a reverse rapture? That's the best thing anybody has said to me since this fucking pandemic started. Why don't I have social media right now? Oh my God.
Like, to me, I'm like, well, I mean, I kind of like it down here. I don't want to go. I want the bad people to go.
Listen, I hope there's martinis in hell, folks, okay? Like, delicious tasting dirty ones.
Or listen, I'm okay with the medium place at this point.
Right. Purgatory is looking mighty fine these days. No, we're not going to say anything again. We're not going to die. Stop it. We're not.
Yeah, no, we're not.
No. We're not joking around about stuff like that.
No, not in 2020.
Not in 2020. This was supposed to be our roaring 20s, by the way.
Oh, it's roaring, all right. It's just not like
coronavirus and racism and
it's like Rage Against the Machine roaring. Damn it. Was not expecting that.
It's like we
are, in a way, we are roaring. We're just, again, like, it wasn't the way that I expected it to be.
No, I wanted to roar positive. Like, it would be like, roar.
Yeah, like, everybody's like
yeah. We're like polar bears right now. We're killing everyone. We're real cute, but killing everybody.
For sure.
Anyway.
Anywho, yeah.
If you've joined us, thank you.
Yes, if you watched this hilariousness, thank you very much for supporting our madness and our sadness,
our mental illness. No.
Yeah. And our, borderline nervous breakdown.
What's going to be used against us if any one of us become politicians in the future?
Oh God. If I ever decide to be a politician, just know that I have gone mad and just like
I've actually been the Mad Hatter for Halloween. There are definitely pictures of me dressed as one, and that will be my campaign slogan. So at least I'm owning up to it.
Yeah. Hey, honesty is what everybody wants, right?
Right.
So here you go.
Full disclosure, everybody. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Tune in next week for whatever the else.
Whatever brings us next.
Maybe we'll be prepared next week. Maybe. Bye, y'all.
Bye.